We're back to business. Okay, sorry for the delay, everybody online. We had some IT issues. We're back. Just want to say again, congratulations to the girls flag football team making it into the state finals. That's tremendous. Okay, the next item on our agenda is correspondence. We had 7 emails regarding contract, and that were the only items. Then we can go on to, do you want to give you your report?
Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming, whether you're here or at home. This is our last board meeting of the 2023-24 school year, so we're really just kind of doing a lap, celebrating all the great work that happened at Lincoln Avenue, Sunrise Drive, Sayville High School, and Cherry Avenue Elementary School, and the middle school. On tomorrow, Sunrise Drive will have their moving up ceremony, followed by our high school graduation in the evening, and we're really excited for that. On Monday morning, we're going to have Lincoln Avenue's moving up, and Monday afternoon, the middle school's moving up ceremony, and then on Wednesday, Cherry Avenue's moving up ceremony. So everyone's kind of finishing up strong, getting into summer mode with some of the celebrations of students. Just to paint the picture of where we're heading as a district, 2 years ago, we had the 100 Days of Learning Study, which was a collaborative research project to kind of get a sense of what do we believe the Sayville learning experience is for kids, and what do we want it to be. And we collected the voices of faculty and staff, families and students, and our leadership team to set a direction for the district after getting out of COVID, saying, like, what do we want for our kids? We came up with a really nice kind of array of 6 outcomes that all students should graduate with when they leave Sayville schools that we can work on as a district from K through 12, which is independent learners, caring citizens, communicators, collaborators, critical thinkers, and joyful learners. And then we set board goals in curriculum instruction, in belonging and inclusivity, in fiscal planning, in communication and transparency, and in connecting our time. So we're going to continue to work on those goals. I think people get nervous, well, what's going to happen next year? Nothing different. We're going to continue to work on the things we've been working on in each building, whether it's core at the high school, the path at the middle school, the Sunrise Drive core values, the Lincoln Learns, or the Cherry Avenue Back to Basics. Each principal in each building work together collaboratively to create their own focus aligned with their building goals. And we're kind of excited about that because it focuses on what we all got into the business for, which is caring about students and helping people learn. And so that's just kind of what's been going on all year. We're really excited about the summer. We have over 100 teachers signed up for, about 50 teachers signed up for curriculum projects, 30 projects at the high school, secondary level, middle school, and 17 elementary projects where teachers will be working on curriculum. We also just announced today our summer academy for teachers, where we're hoping to have similar numbers to last year. With over 80 teachers last year participating in summer learning activities, and then getting ready and preparing to continue this work in your 5 board goals for the next school year. So that's the report. We're excited. We're grateful for the support of our teachers, our staff, our leadership team, and our community. I'm going to keep on moving forward with these instructional goals and these caring for student goals for our district. So that's the report.
Thank you, Dr. Travis. Okay, so moving on to Board of Ed discussion. We have the revised Board of Education meeting dates for 2024-25 school year. Any questions on that?
Revisions.
Okay. And then we have PTA meeting attendance.
This was my I had asked that we add this to the agenda. So as you know, I typically attend the SEPTA Middle School, High School PTA meetings every month. I started that when I started on the board with Mr. Verdone. But it's a lot being on the board and working and having a family and also going to the PTA meetings. So I wanted to reach out to my fellow board members and to ask if we could maybe discuss setting up like a rotation where we could also attend the elementary school PTA meetings, so that not only can we give a report on board happenings to the PTA, but also get information from them as well. And just, help support the PTA, because the PTAs are a big part of our community for our kids and for the parents too. And I think it would be nice if we were there. So perhaps this summer we could work on just maybe like a schedule or something where everybody could, maybe, take turns rotating to.
Yeah, or take a building or something.
Yeah, or something like that, whatever works.
No, I think it's
know
great.
everyone's
It's a great
busy, but-
idea.
That's a great idea.
Good, thank you.
I mean, I think I can speak for some of us, we always have intention to go to the meetings. There's a lot of things going
Yeah,
on.
there's.
But I think it's great if we divide and then we bring the feedback to us.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, so the other topic is the audit committee membership. Any further discussion on that? Do we want to change the structure? What are you feeling about that?
I'm in favor of revisiting the structure. Right now, it's just us, the city board members, and I think that in the role that we want to be more transparent, that having people who are on the outside come in to look at our audits, we know that they're in good shape, but I think that it might do the community some good to see that other people see that we're in good shape, so I would be in favor of adding outside members, or at least one outside member to our audit committee.
Mark, I was wondering, because we're supposed to vote on the structure and the reorg. Can we do that in the 23rd, the later meeting? Does it have to be on July 2nd?
So I believe typically the rework meeting is where you would organize the audit committee. But I guess if you're speaking about changing the charter, which that's what that would entail, maybe you could change the charter and then have it, the members or, it's a process. So I guess you could table it. I'm not really sure legally what.
I just
how
don't know if we
that
have enough
plays.
time to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's coming up so quickly.
Yes,
And
Are there any?
and at that July 23rd meeting is an audit committee
Yeah.
meeting beforehand.
so I think if you could check and get back to us if there's any limitation why you couldn't vote on just the audit committee charter and
Right.
everything on the 23rd.
Okay.
And that would probably give us a little bit more time to research and see how it works.
Previously,
So we can then just maybe discuss it on July 2nd.
previously, we had members of PTAs that volunteered, that was done.
That wasn't the audit committee, because the audit committee was totally new, in like, 2003 or whatever. What you're talking about is like budget committee.
Yes, that we really rolled
Yeah.
in.
I would also be in favor in exploring the outside membership.
Yeah, I do too, I think it's a good idea.
So, maybe I'll reach out to you and then we can discuss different ideas that we can present at the rework and then possibly then vote on what we want to do at the 23rd.
Yeah, so once you decide, it sounds like you would entertain outside how that looks.
Yeah.
You're interviewing candidates, and then it would be a revision of the charter, and then you would then say who the members of the audit committee were.
Usually they're community members from Sayville who happen to have like a background in CPA or something like that, and then
Yes.
you choose who you want on it, and then they get to sit and give feedback.
And that's an interview process?
Well, you
Or
would want to have someone who was able to contribute effectively to that committee.
Thank you.
And then we have the claims order report. Any questions or comments? Everything's okay.
I have one other question, that was like, I was wondering, the pie chart you show us where, a budget chart where it comes from, how much we get from the state, the feds, is it possible, and I don't know if it is, and if it creates more work for you, if it's a big deal, I'd like to see, going back years, like, maybe 1990, 2000, 2010, how much money we got. Pie chart is very, someone asked me, and I said, pie chart does really show simply the percentage that we've gone down getting money from the state. Is
Okay.
it a problem? Is it a problem?
No, I mean, the information is available, it's just a matter of summarizing it in a fashion that could be presented.
Yeah.
So
just-
you want it in, it sounds like 10-year increments
Yeah,
of over the years
Yeah.
of where the state aid percentage was in comparison to the total revenue budget.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, I just don't want to create more work for you. If it's simple, because we're getting so much less from the state than we were. And I want people to understand that.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other topics? I mean, what I wanted to clarify, because we were contacted with some emails, as far as the superintendent's contract, just to give a little background on it, because some people think that we're opening the contract up. And actually, the way the contract is set up for Sayville is the annual compensation has to be decided every year through a board resolution. Some contracts, like a teacher's union contract or other superintendent's contracts in other districts, they may have a 5-year or a 3-year contract, and all those percentages and increases are written in stone in the contract. But in the superintendent's contract, we have to decide on the percentage increase. So that's why every year, since I've been on the board, we have to review the contract and decide on their compensation. In the past, we've normally added a year onto the contract, and that's what we're doing tonight. My thinking with the whole 5-year plan was, I wanted a leader, for the 5-year plan. That's why initially we had proposed adding the additional years before the vote. But some people in the community didn't feel that was appropriate, so we reconvened, and now that's why we're bringing the contract up at this time. So I also want to say I fully support the district plan. I feel that we have set our board goals, and the way it's been rolled out to the buildings and everything, and the teacher involvement, staff involvement, is a positive attribute in this district, and that's why I wholeheartedly support the contract. Okay. Anybody else?
I just want to say, Tom, thank you for explaining that, and it is true, and we did go back and look at how past contracts were treated for past superintendents and decided that we would fall into that same pattern, and that's what we are doing here tonight. Also, we received 7 emails from the community. I do know there was some back and forth on Facebook. A lot of what was being said isn't true. It's not based on the fact, and I know we're being accused a lot of not listening, but I think that there's something to be said to the community's not listening either, because as much as we try to clarify and continue to talk, we had several sessions that discussed class sizes and what they were and what they would be, and that they were still in an educationally sound manner, and that we would revisit them again in September to make sure that they were still educationally sound. So some of those things are problematic, and I appreciate when people ask questions and want clarifications, and I think those are fair things to ask for. But when someone throws out misinformation and people just trust that and not us, that is a little hard to deal with. I think we're all intelligent. We all do our due diligence here, and we get a lot of information that isn't necessarily public that we base our information and our decision making on. And I do hope that there's some level of trust that we are doing our due diligence when we do that.
I just wanted to also add another mistruth that I had seen was that we're cutting programs for kids next year, and that is 100% not true. There's no programs that are being cut for the students for next year. That was very high priority on our list when discussing the budget this year and all the everything that we went through. That was one of the highest priorities. So I did want to clarify that, if that's not true.
Okay. Any other discussion from the board? Okay, so now we'll move on to the public comment period. Okay, our Board of Education is committed to the safety one. Oh, got the wrong one, sorry. Public comment statement. Before we start the public comment portion of our meeting, I would like to make the following statement. The Board of Education appreciates feedback from the community. We recognize free speech as one of the fundamental freedoms. These freedoms are not without restrictions. We follow regulations specified by law, and and the board policy, and we encourage our community members to offer public comment. According to the Sayville School Board Policy 1230, we request the following. Participants in public session must demonstrate civility as they address the board and community. 30 minutes has been set aside for public comment by the public. The board reserves the right to limit or extend public participation if it deems necessary. Comments and questions from the public are limited to 3 minutes per person and should be related to school matters. Speakers are requested to identify themselves or the group they represent and direct their comments to the board. The board will not permit discussion involving individual students, district personnel, or community members. The full policy is available on the district website, and we appreciate your support to have and I honestly do mean that. I appreciate the public comment period, but we also must be respectful of others. Okay, so can I have a show of hands how many would like to speak? Okay. You can go on. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I don't normally do this, so this is really that important to me. My name is Wendy, and I want to thank you for allowing me to speak. I am here to request that every one of you take a look at the changes that you want to make to his contract. I am a project manager by trade. I've lived in this community a long time, and what I'm seeing is really the changes are not, they're good, they're not good enough. We have a long way to go, and what's happening is this community is starting to be very, very divided. I, like you, Dr. Ferris, run multi-million-dollar accounts. I don't have an executive board this big, but you two are running a business here. And don't even think for 1 second it's not, right? But you have the job to run this district for our children. After COVID and in today's economy, my company's business was facing changes just like we are today and yesterday and what we will be facing in the future. Revenue is down, inflation soared, and expenses are at an all-time high. I haven't had a raise personally in 5 years. I've been with my company for 26 years. And you wanna know why? Because my employees come first. They come first. And when there were cuts that needed to be made, it was me who took them. As a leader of your company, your job is to take care of those people that work for you. They put in the time, they put in the effort to make your 5-year plan successful. You as the leader are not rewarded until the project is complete and successful. My clients would laugh at me if I even merely thought of asking for a contract renegotiation that didn't benefit them. I would even probably get fired for it, unless the scope changed or something changed on the work order in the job description. None of that has changed for you. You were hired to do a job. I understand cost of inflation, all that stuff, right? So looking at, I think, the most recent proposal, it was a 2% increase for you. That boils down to about $200 a month take-home. That's doing you no good. It's probably maybe 1 or 2 takes against. So you can't tell me that that's based on inflation.
I have to ask you to finish up, please.
The additional funds from the Board of Ed for the personal and sick time, again, not needed, but you know what it pads? Your retirement package.
I have to ask you to finish up, please.
Yeah. The extra sick days,
Okay, excuse me. I asked for respect. We gave you 3 minutes, so you please, you have to finish up.
What I'm asking you, you said to me, I was sitting over there and you told me a month and a half ago that you were gonna table this. So this was it? This was the big month? Last time, this room was full. We had the press here.
Okay, I have to ask you to sit down.
Again, for the last thing that I want to ask for, I would love a show of hands to see how many people actually oppose these changes. And where are the new people that were elected to the board? Why isn't this after that? These are the people that we elected to be here and they're not here because of other meetings on the same night.
Unfortunately, that's the way it worked out.
It is the way it worked out.
Please sit down.
But again, you sat there and told me that to my face, that you were tabling this because you heard the community. What you did was
Okay.
just appease the group,
Please sit down.
and that's not right.
Yes, I will. Just to explain, the contract was withdrawn by Dr. Ferris. We did table it, and then we revisited the contract, just like I explained just before.
I get it, for 6 weeks later, stop.
No, I mean, we took the information that we received and we reevaluated our proposal. So. Okay, any other questions?
Is there a date, what's the date, the end of the contract?
What's the date we have to decide
Well,
on a yearly,
June
yearly
30th.
amount?
And some of these changes are for this academic year, which ends in 5 days. There's no way you're getting 5 additional days unless you need paid time off.
Okay, let's continue.
I mean, come on.
So I also asked that same question.
You have to come to the podium, you have a question.
I'm not coming to the podium, but I can say that I asked that same question if we were gonna see this in the June meeting. And I was told by you and some of the board members agree that in this day, it's not the best thing to extend the contract. And now here we are with a bigger
I said
raise.
at that time, I don't know.
It's been 6 weeks.
Yes, at that time.
6 weeks with nobody
Okay,
here.
so we need to move on.
Where's the show of hands? Anybody opposed to
Well, we
this?
vote.
Well, we vote.
They have to vote.
We have to vote on the contract.
Simple, really. It's simple. You need to take care of this company.
Okay, I'm moving on. Okay, so, oh yeah, one other thing I want to point out. No, I'm not gonna go there. First, let me just go with the motion. So, I need a motion for, 701 through 825, and that is, let's see, that's the minutes, and the recommended action is finance. I need a motion?
Second.
Okay, that's Carl and Christine. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Against? Motion passes. Okay. Then I need a motion for new business personnel 901 through 1006.
Was that the vote
Just-
for him?
can you
I'm
wait
sorry,
while
I don't know what the
Mr.
numbers are. I don't know what the
They
numbers are.
weren't put out
Okay.
for this meeting.
No, they're online. Okay, excuse me. So 901 through 1006. Motion, need a motion? Second? Well, you could do this discussion. I got a motion from James, second? Christine. Any discussion?
Yes, I think we should discuss it.
You got it.
Are we going to discuss the raises in the rest of the district?
Okay, just to be clear, every other unit in the district got their raises as planned.
So did my employees.
Okay, that's why I want to be clear about
So did my employees.
it. Okay,
I think that's an important point, because I think that it's a difficult time, and at no time will we cutting programs, and I think a lot of teachers stepped up to retire earlier than what I'm planning on, while there's an incentive. But I do think, for me, the way I'm seeing this is every single unit got a raise. So I don't understand why you would target the superintendent. I mean, that's my perspective.
May I say something?
okay, so
And yeah,
discussion.
I would like to say that this raise is in line with the raises that we've given the other units, and I think that makes it the fair thing to do. Also, I think that what people are missing is that last January, we had a budget crisis that we thought was the end of the world. And we navigated through that budget process with the help of our superintendent and his cabinet. And then it wound up not being quite the crisis that we had. However, it gave us the opportunity to be able to put ourselves in a good place financially for next year, so that when it does happen, we are better off than that point because we have time to plan for it. So there was an incentive, and there were teachers who decided that they would take it. There were some who decided not to take it. It was really their choice. But through the breakage that we get from the fact that some teachers have retired, and the fact that when we looked at enrollment, there were obviously places where there was some places to trim the fat, which we did this year, which puts us in a better place going forward. And I think when you take all those things into consideration, the crisis is not here right now. And if the crisis is here next year, then this may be a very different conversation.
Should
So I
still
think
be,
it is.
we diverted it.
I would also like to say that I actually agree with your comment that the community is very divided.
Extremely.
It's very upsetting. I know you, Wendy,
I know.
and we're friends.
Yeah.
And this is tough. I think it's important. You know, I mean, there's the elephant in the room here. We had an issue this year, and it was an upsetting issue that we had to handle. I don't think that should take away, in a way, any of the really good stuff that we did in the district this year. There were so many advances with so many different programs, curriculum, teacher, what's it called? Professional development for teachers, sports teams, enhanced things for the arts in the middle school, the light. I have all these full files here, I could read them, but I think we've talked about them a lot over the year. And I think it's important to remember those things. It's hard when you're upset about something to get past it and try to look at the good things that have happened. And no one is saying here that any job is done. This is a big job, and we're gonna keep working and we're gonna keep improving. But I want the community to know that we are very, very aware of what everyone thinks and what everyone's saying and how everyone's feeling, and we take that every day to heart. Every day. So I don't want anybody here to think that this was a decision made lightly. This was discussed for hours, brought back, discussed again for hours. There was a lot of deliberation, there was a lot of scenarios, there was a lot of back and forth, there was a lot of arguing. There was a lot of work done for this. There was consideration about the other units, there was consideration about the programs, there was consideration about everything that happened in the district this year. So I would just like to say that this was not a decision that was made frivolously or lightheartedly at all.
Can I just say something?
No.
So I respect that, Kelly, beyond belief, I just want you to know that. But I do want to say something that I've kept my mouth shut since the whole soccer thing happened. I called Dr. Ferris the next day. I had a conversation with him. My son was stuck in his room for 2 months, wouldn't touch a soccer ball because of all the allegations. He had college coaches ask him as the captain of the soccer team what happened and cut him off and said, I cannot have someone on my soccer team that was involved with something like this. I said to Dr. Ferris when he told me to let the dust settle, that this will all go away, I asked him if he had children and how he would feel. And he said to me, I'm sure that there's somebody in the building that your son can talk to. That next day I told him, he went right to Dr. Cox, said, Dr. Cox, there was questions that I wanted to ask during my interview that I didn't feel comfortable asking. Can I please set up a meeting with you? He went to Dr. Cox. Dr. Cox answered every question that he had, every question, but it doesn't take away, and Christine, you were at when all of the kids were signing their acceptance for college, for sports. There was not one soccer player there. We had 4 coaches coming to our game when the season got canceled. Those kids never got the opportunity because now they had to contact those coaches and say, hey, listen, we are not having a season and this is why. Now, my son is at 11th grade, he has time, but those seniors didn't have time. And for Dr. Ferris to say to me over the phone, not knowing who I am from a hole in the wall, for me to let the dust settle, that has sat and sat and sat, and I never felt any empathy from anybody. And I respect so many of you up there, but it broke my heart while my kid is sitting in his room, hysterical crying that he's labeled this way. And the only thing it was said was that one time I made a mistake. It's not okay.
Danielle, let me just interrupt you.
Yeah.
Please. I hope that it was more than clear, more than obvious during that entire thing, how hard this was for the entire board. And I don't know if anybody else wants to speak to this.
And Dr. Ferris as well. I mean, it wasn't an easy time. And
It was an unprecedented, horrible situation for everybody. And I don't even know how to express how upsetting it was.
I mean,
I lived it, I know.
I know.
I'll just jump in here for a second. I mean, we were all concerned about kids' futures. I mean, so for me, on my end, the homework I'm doing is, at one time I was a guidance supervisor before my current assignment. I know these things are not shared and disclosed with colleges and universities. But I also went ahead and contacted people that are more current in the field, including two really good school districts. I said, could there be any consequences? I need to know this as part of the discussion.
James, there was though. I have a son who plays college soccer who got questioned by his college soccer coach of what happened.
I guess
It's,
from the assurances I got were, from the guys in the field was, it's not shared, that we don't just discuss it, and that, and that's not unlike any disciplinary situation in county school. Schools don't share that. It's up to a student to disclose on the application.
it was all over the news.
I'm
In
aware.
Georgia, it was in Georgia.
I have to bring the meeting back to order.
Before you do that, though, I just want to say that if I came across as unempathetic, I'm sorry for that. And I know that there's no going back, there's only going forward. If there's anything I can do, if you want to talk, I'd be happy to do so. I do have two boys, and I would be equally as upset at the situation as you are. So if there's anything we can do to repair that, I'd be willing to do that.
And in closing, I would just say, similar to what Callie said, we're elected as trustees of the district. We take this role very seriously. It is stressful, and we don't make our decisions lightly, and we know our decisions have impact. But I also feel that we have so many things to be proud of, and we're looking forward to the future of this district, improving, all aspects of our education. And I just hope you understand that. Thank you. So now, I need to move on to the vote. So that was for 901 to 1006. All those, I already did the motion, I believe, right? So
You did.
and we had discussion, all those in favor? Against? Motion passes. Okay. Upcoming dates,
Can I just say full disclosure that included the superintendent's?
I pulled it up after.
I would also like to
That
answer the
just did?
question.
Yeah, that's why I showed you.
I thought we did 9 point whatever.
Yeah, it's a 10.
I'd also like to answer the question regarding the new Board of Ed members that were elected. Desmond Magna, who was here earlier, had a NISBA.
it's a new board member conference to go to.
Right.
That's why. We tried to schedule that he would be here, but the boards went a little longer than we expected, because he had intended to be.
And also the other board member
Doesn't
start
July
until July
1st.
2nd after June 30th,
Okay.
just to clarify.
Dates, Sunrise Drive moving up ceremony is on June 21st at 9:30. High school is on the same day at 6 p.m. On June 26th is a rain date at 10 a.m. in case we need that. On June 23rd is the second rain date. Let's see, on June 24th is Lincoln Avenue moving up ceremony at 9:30. On the 24th is the middle school moving up ceremony at 5 o'clock. On the 25th is Cherry Avenue moving up ceremony at 9:30. And June 26th is the last day of school. On July 2nd is the reorganization meeting for the Board of Education, that's at 5:30. Okay. Is that the last item? Wait, oh, no, now we're going. So now we're gonna, I think we're gonna adjourn.
Adjourn.
Good adjourn, then we're gonna reopen at 7:30 at the.
Okay. So at 7:30, we'll be re-adjourning for the awards presentation in the old junior hall. That's the open comment. We could, I mean,
Were there any comments
Yeah, is
other
there
than
any
what's on the
other
agenda?
There's two sets of comments.
Okay. Good. So now, we're gonna adjourn now, and then we'll be back at 7:30 at the old junior high.
Congratulations on your raise. Congratulations.
Yeah, I just want to apologize and say that I'd love to be there and hand out all those awards,
Yeah.
but I do have to play football dinner, and I want to thank everyone's recognition of them. They're an absolute amazing team. I look forward to this expansion of this sport, and
Enjoy.
I'll see you all soon.
I just need a motion, I need a motion for recess. Okay, James,
Did you watch that?
all those in favor?
You mean literally blew the news?
Motion passes.
Pleasure being here.
Red light is not gonna rush.
Next week.